There's a kind of breakup that doesn't look like a breakup. No conversation, no final message, no moment where both people acknowledge that something has ended, yet the relationship is already over. It ends the moment one person begins to quietly withdraw, even though, on the surface, the relationship still exists. They're technically together. They still talk. Sometimes. They still reply, but they are no longer in the relationship together. This is what people are now calling quiet quitting love.
If the term sounds unfamiliar, here's what it means in simple terms. Quiet quitting love is when someone decides to leave a relationship emotionally, but never leaves it explicitly. Instead of saying, "I don't want this anymore," they slowly reduce effort. They reply later. They stop initiating. They stop sharing. They become polite instead of present. From the outside, nothing has officially ended. But internally, for one person, the relationship is already finished. That's the most painful part. The relationship ends twice. The first ending happens quietly, inside one person's mind. The second ending, if it ever comes, happens later, when the other person finally realizes what's been happening. Between those two moments, there's a strange in-between state. Two people remain connected, but only one of them knows the connection is already gone. Quiet quitting love didn't start with relationships. The phrase originally came from work culture, where employees emotionally disengaged without resigning. They showed up, did the minimum, and avoided confrontation. What's changed is how naturally this behavior has migrated into personal relationships, friendships, romantic partnerships, even family dynamics. Instead of ending things clearly, people fade. Not because they're incapable of honesty, but because honesty feels heavier than distance. From the perspective of the person quiet quitting, this often doesn't feel cruel. It feels like relief. They don't have to hurt someone directly. They don't have to explain feelings they don't fully understand. They don't have to sit in the discomfort of watching someone react. They simply step back, and each step back feels small enough to justify. But from the perspective of the person being quiet quit, the experience is deeply destabilizing. Nothing is clear. There's no moment to grieve, no explanation to process, no certainty to hold on to. Instead, there's confusion. They sense something is wrong, but can't point to it. They replay conversations, they second-guess themselves. And because the other person hasn't said anything, they assume the problem must be internal. This is where quiet quitting becomes emotionally damaging. When a relationship ends loudly, pain is shared. When it ends silently, pain is isolated. One person gets closure without conversation. The other is left trying to interpret absence as meaning. And the brain is terrible at interpreting silence. It fills the gap with self-blame. Psychologically, quiet quitting love is rooted in avoidance. Not avoidance of the other person, but avoidance of emotional responsibility. Ending a relationship directly requires clarity. It requires saying, "This isn't working," and tolerating the guilt, sadness, or disappointment that follows. Quiet quitting avoids that moment entirely. Distance replaces decision. There's also an identity component. Many people want to see themselves as kind, easygoing, or non-dramatic. A direct breakup challenges that self-image. Quiet quitting allows someone to believe they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't hurt anyone. They didn't reject anyone. Things just faded. There's also an identity component. Many people want to see themselves as kind, easygoing, or non-dramatic. A direct breakup challenges that self-image. Quiet quitting allows someone to believe they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't hurt anyone. They didn't reject anyone. Things just faded. Modern communication makes this easier than ever. We can disappear gradually. We can watch stories without responding. We can delay replies without explanation. We can stay reachable without being available. Technology allows relationships to exist in a half-alive state, and that makes quiet quitting feel natural, even reasonable. There's another pattern worth noticing. Quiet quitting love often begins right after intimacy increases, after expectations are clarified, after vulnerability is shared, after the relationship asks for consistency instead of convenience. At that point, staying requires emotional effort. Leaving requires a conversation. Quiet quitting requires neither. For the person being quiet quit, the emotional consequences can last long after the relationship ends. Unclear endings disrupt trust, not just trust in others, but trust in one's own perception. People begin to doubt their ability to read emotional signals. They become hyper-alert to shifts in tone. They fear closeness, because closeness once disappeared without explanation. A silent ending teaches the nervous system that connection is unstable. So what do we do with this? Because understanding the pattern is only useful if it leads somewhere. Let's talk about solutions.
You have to see it from my side.
Separately.
I was just trying to protect
you. If you are the one quiet quitting, the first step is honesty with yourself. Ask a simple question. Have I already decided this relationship is over, even though I haven't said it? If the answer is yes, then silence isn't kindness. It's avoidance. You don't owe someone a long justification or perfect words, but you do owe them clarity. A relationship doesn't require mutual happiness to continue, but it does require mutual awareness to end. Naming the ending may feel uncomfortable, but it prevents the slow erosion of trust that silence creates. If you are being quiet quit, the hardest truth is this. If someone has emotionally withdrawn and shows no effort to reconnect, the relationship may already be over, even if no one has said it out loud. Clarity rarely comes from waiting longer. It comes from asking direct questions and observing actions, not promises. Silence is information. Distance is information. You are not wrong for wanting certainty. And closure does not always come from the other person. Sometimes it comes from recognizing when presence has already been withdrawn. Quiet quitting love feels modern, subtle, and non-confrontational, but its effects are real. It ends relationships without acknowledgement. It leaves one person grieving something they were never told they lost. Understanding this pattern doesn't mean accepting it. It means recognizing when a relationship has ended silently and deciding not to stay in the space between together and gone. This is quiet quitting love. A relationship that ends the moment one person stops showing up, even while both people are still there.